Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Good Morning LEQ.
We are super excited to have you here with us this morning.
We are.
Yes.
Yes.
Super fun.
Yes.
Awesome.
We've got some really cool stuff planned for you this morning, along with our witty banter and our fun topics. We've got a few. How would you? An education?
Yeah.
An education?
We got a small education segment for you. How about just say that?
Yeah, you always like to rhyme it with something, though. I do. Needle location.
Needle location.
Needle location. Needle
We
location.
we always get lots and lots of calls, or we get calls, emails, texts, and then also they come in the store and it's about needles. And we've had a few good YouTube videos out there on the needles, but we're like, you know what, we're going to just do a little update this morning with you. That way you can ask us questions while we're showing you the difference. We're not going to go into full 30-minute educational hour on needles, but just enough for you to kind of get an idea. And then we'll make another really good video on it. Right?
Yes.
Is that what you meant to say?
Maybe.
I
don't remember.
I don't know.
Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Kathy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Before we get started, we have a big announcement.
We do?
Yes.
Oh, the 25?
Way to ruin the announcement. Thanks to all of you that have subscribed. We have now surpassed 25,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed before, it is free to do.
Yes.
It just keeps you notified with what we're doing. So make sure you hit that subscribe button below the video, and always give these videos a big thumbs up.
Yes,
Keeps them coming to your feed so you know what's going on here at LEQ.
Yes, it's so exciting every time we see new subscribers coming on. We're like, yes. It's just fun.
It's fun. It's good to be notified, and it's free.
And it's free. Exactly.
That's what we like.
Exactly.
Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Laura. Debbie, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
If you didn't get a chance to see last night's video that Corey did, he did just kind of a simple one on the AccuStitch. I was so surprised because he was actually making something for me, because I love butterflies and I love variegated thread, and he really did out. I really love this.
Thank you. I even bound it. I'm so proud of myself.
So if you didn't get a chance to see that last night, there's a video on the AccuStitch. So if you have a...
Do you want me to take it up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you have like a straight stitch sewing machine, and we have in the link it tells you which ones it works with, and you don't have your long arm or mid arm and you just want to start quilting, the AccuStitch really does make it super easy to do that. It gives your sewing machine your straight stitch a stitch regulator. So Corey was showing you how easy it was to use last night, and like the different like you can still do freehand. You can still do all that stuff just even on your sit-down domestic machine.
Free motion.
Free motion, sorry.
Terminology.
Terminology.
Free motion's on your sewing machine. Freehand is on a long arm.
I know.
It's all about terminology. I done moved the whole table. I was so excited to sit back down.
So if you have any questions on that, feel free to send us an email, text, give us a call. It's also on our website and tells you what models it works with.
Mm-hmm. It's super duper cool. It's really fun. The ability to change your stitch length on a sewing machine for regulation. Of course, you can normally change your stitch length. Yeah. But to sit down, because I already had something on the long arm that I can show you maybe. And I just want to do something really quick and easy for Mom, along with having a video and some techniques for y'all.
Yeah.
Was really cool, and the ability to do that is
awesome. I loved it. I love that the Summery Fun signature thread that you picked, the variegated.
I like Summery Fun. Summery Fun and Fad 5 are kind of one of my favorites.
Yeah.
The variegated that they make.
I love variegated threads. You know me. Anytime somebody comes in and goes, can you help me match a top, which is like every day.
She goes straight to variegated threads every time. And I'm like, sometimes that's not what you want.
No, it depends. Like I've learned, like if they want to see the piecing and not the quilting as much, I don't go straight to variegated. But if it's kind of like an all over patchwork quilt or just kind of a scrappy quilt, variegated all day long. So, alrighty. Again, thank you everyone for joining us this morning. We can't wait to start our topic on needles. Cool. So
Rita said she's got friends with new machines that it will work on, so she's going to mention the AccuStitch to them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, we sell it on our website too, so that'd be awesome.
We've got Janice, Teresa, Amy, Terry, Rita.
Yes.
We've got a whole crew this morning.
That's awesome. We appreciate you guys watching. Again, we're just super excited. We looked up this morning and we surpassed, like he was saying, the 25,000 subscribers on our YouTube. We were like, yes. It was just like a monumental moment for us. We've been waiting for that for a while. So we thank you. And if you haven't subscribed, like you said, please subscribe. Okay, yes. I'll stop talking. Let's talk about needles.
We have one more thing to hit on.
Oh, what?
Before we move into needles.
Okay.
Last week we got a question on what app I use for using my iPad for drawing.
Mm-hmm.
The app that I prefer is Art Studio Pro. I prefer it, one, because it's free. Go team, always on a budget. And I just like the ability to have different layers whenever I'm drawing out different things. So it's called Art Studio Pro. You don't have, there are in-app purchases, but you can just use the free edition and get everything you need out of it.
Gotcha.
But that's the one that I like to use, and I've been sketching all morning. So that's the one that works for me.
And why have you been sketching all morning?
We're going to talk about that now, too?
Why not?
We are so off script. Just throw this out the window. We will be using... Got that tad. There we go. We're having a little sound issue.
Okay.
We will be doing Quilting with Corey next Thursday.
Yeah.
We're going to start at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time here on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It's a live event. Come and go. You do not have to stay the whole 2.5 hours. I'll be here. But you don't have to stay the whole 2.5 hours. But I will be doing free motion and a little bit of computerized quilting on that peacock panel that I showed a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And that's what I've been sketching out, trying to figure out what designs I want to go with and the route I want to take. And I'll just be quilting that the whole time. And you'll be able to ask questions. Mom will be here, and she will be reading them off, and she'll help answer quite a few because I'll be focused.
Yeah. So the idea is that you can just, it's kind of like you can just chill and quilt with him. It's like he's there quilting with you. It's going to be live. You can interact with them and talk to them.
If you're in your studio, you can put your earbuds in and listen while you're quilting.
Yeah,
and, glance every now and then.
So obviously we've never done that before, so we'll see how this works. Definitely tune in. Tell your friends about it to tune in.
Please tell everybody. We want a big audience.
Yeah, like a quilting party with Corey. Anyway, that's next Thursday. What is the day next Thursday?
16th.
The 16th. So March 16th, 2023.
Yes.
In case this video is watched in 2 years.
But yeah, no, so it'll be a really fun event. We'll be doing that next Thursday. And that's what we're going to do. And that's what I've been sketching on and working on for a while.
Yeah, you have been. Yeah. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and talk needles.
Sure. Yep. All right, so we're doing that needlecation.
The needlecation is happening. No grammar coaches, please.
No, please. Don't quote us on that.
Alrighty.
All right, so what do you want to go straight to?
We're just going to go
needles themselves, or what do you want to do?
Well, it's easier probably to show it on the package. But so Grossbecker makes over 3,000 quilting or sewing needles. Sewing and shoe needles is what they call it. 3,000. So when people come in here, or we talk to them on the phone and they're like, well, I just need the Grossbecker package needles, the ones that are in the green package, right? I just need the green package. And we go, okay, but what kind of machine do you have? Because there's like, just in the long arm sewing type of mid-arm machines, there's 300 variations of the 134s that could be used. Now, obviously, there's only probably 2 or 3 that work in most of the machines, the other 134s, but there's still 300 variations.
Yeah.
And so we always say, okay, always keep a package. So when you get your machine, or whether you buy it new or used or get it from a friend, make sure you always keep a copy.
I need that kind of friend.
I know, right?
Getting a machine from a friend? I need that kind of friend.
Always keep your original package, and even if it's just taking a picture of it, double check with your dealer, to make sure you're using the right needle. Because believe it or not, even though the needle might fit in there, it might not be the right needle, and you could be causing kind of stitch issues, right?
Normally has a lot to do with the length of the needle.
Yeah.
A lot of times, even like she said, even if it fits in like the circumference.
Yeah. Inside the shaft.
Yeah, but anyway, I took math at one time. Anyway, if it fits inside the needle bar, it may fit, but it might not be long enough to go all the way down into your hook assembly to grab the bobbin to make the proper stitch.
Yeah, and it might work sometimes and not sometimes, and all of a sudden you're having tension issues, and you're like,
skip stitches,
my
and
tension's
breakage,
fine.
and all sorts of stuff.
Believe it or not, a lot of time it's as simple as having the right needle. So we want to show you what the difference is on the needles that we carry, which work with probably half of the long arms out there.
Majority of them, yeah.
But to tell you the difference of what they mean. So we're going to go over to the other screen.
Okay.
So Corey, why don't you take our little stylus and break it down? So let's talk about the numbers first.
So this top left number on all of the Grossbecker packages is the part number. So that's the part number for the actual needle size, their needle size, their variants, all that fun jazz.
Okay.
The 10 in the middle, that's bolded, gives you the denomination of how many needles are in the package. So there
Okay.
are 10 in each package.
Mm-hmm.
The NM is basically their version of size, and it goes into 110/18.
So this is just the size 18 we're showing you. We carry
Correct.
multiple sizes, but we wanted to show you 3 different variations of a size 18 needle that can still work in your machine.
Yeah, this is one of the sizes that we have the most variations of, so we just decided to stick with that one.
And it's the most popular needle size is the 4.0.
For sure, yeah.
So whether you hear size 18 or size 4.0, it's the same needle. It's the same size.
Right.
Okay.
So that 110/18 is gonna give you that size along with the number right underneath it, which is the 4.0. But like for instance, on a 5.0, that's gonna be a 130/21, and that gives you a 5.0.
Yeah, and then if you break it down to say a 3.5.
3.5 is going to give you 100/16. That's a 3.5.
Which is another popular one too.
Correct,
Between
yeah.
the 3.5 and the 4.0, those are the ones that are used the most.
A lot of different numbers on here.
So let's say the difference. So the 134 and then the MR. So it's real important to know the difference between that. So you might be using 134, but if your machine doesn't use MR, then for instance, these needles wouldn't work for you. MR means multi-range. So it's a multi-directional needle. Which, like I said, works in about half of the machines, but not all of them. And then, so
I think the majority of the machines are starting to switch to it.
they are, but there's still a lot out there. So, for instance, you know, like the older handy quilters, Baby Locks, Jukies, Qniques, they use 134, no MR. And so it's important to make sure that you're getting the proper needle.
Right.
So the MR means multi-range. So every time you're looking for needles when you're shopping at a show or from a store, always, you know, if you have your picture of your needles, it's even better. Because really this part doesn't change.
Which part?
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
That
this part right
pretty-
here should always be pretty close to the same
Yeah.
for the needle. So it doesn't matter what size. So even if I go to a 2.5,
4.5.
oh yeah, it's still these numbers are the same.
Yeah.
So that's what you're looking for.
For this type of
this-
needle.
for this type of
Yeah,
needle.
for this type of needle. Yeah.
Yeah. And so for instance, like the needles that we sell here at the store will work on APQS, Tin Lizzy, Gamels, and Novas. Work on the HQ Infinity and some of the newer handy quilters. However, they will not work on Berninas. We get that question a lot.
Yeah,
So-
Bernina uses
has their own
standard
engineer.
sewing machine needles. Yeah.
all right,
'cause
sorry,
they're
jumping out of
flat-sided.
Let's go to the next stuff. What does the other stuff mean?
So the next part below it, at the bottom left, is the determining factor of how all 3 of these are different at the end of the day. So an R is a sharp needle. An FG/SUK is a medium ballpoint. And a Gibbeter, FFG/SES, is a light ballpoint titanium
Yeah.
needle.
And so the Gibbeter is actually trademarked with Grosbecker for their titanium. It's called titanium nitrate coating.
Oh, look at you. Someone did her homework.
So, I mean, and so why, Corey, so tell us which ones you would use most of the time and for what fabrics, because we get that question a lot. And it's going to be different, possibly. And
It's
so what we're
all
telling,
personal preference,
it's all
too.
yeah, it's all personal preference. But
Yeah.
if you're having some type of tension issues or other issues, it might be worth trying something different, a different needle.
Yeah.
So, for instance, the sharp is probably the most commonly one used.
Right. If you're starting off having tension issues, stitch quality issues, or anything in that ballpark, I would start off with an R needle. I would start there. That's a sharp needle. It's going to be used for most cotton fabrics when you're working through your actual quilting every day. This is a good everyday quilting needle. It's going to hold up pretty well when you're starting off trying to figure out what the problem is. Most machines, even like a Gamel X, or there's a few others that just use R's all the time. And so those are the ones that I would start off with. A medium ballpoint or the FG/SUK, I'd be using that if I was doing t-shirt quilts, because t-shirt quilts tend to be a little heavier on their fabrics, and you have no idea what type of t-shirt because there's 10,000 variations of t-shirt material. So this one would kind of be one that I would be heading towards. Maybe even minky quilts, top and bottom, minky on both.
Yeah.
I'd be using a medium ballpoint just because that's a lot of fabric to go through.
Yeah.
And then a titanium needle, which is this Gibbeter. This titanium needle is a light ballpoint, and these are phenomenal for digital prints. So those Dream Big panels or any, I mean, that's just one we really all know about.
Yeah.
But any digital printed fabric, which a lot of them are starting to be these days.
So you can digital print if you just have minky on one side, but
Minky on one side, cotton on top. Yeah, yeah, if you're doing a cotton on top and minky on the bottom, you definitely want some type of ballpoint needle.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that minky is going to pull up to the top of the quilt.
So the light ballpoint, the titanium, which will work in all the machines we listed.
Oh yeah, no
fine.
question.
Yeah.
No question. Yeah, this is normally like for the Innova machines that we sell, this is the needle that they use just to take all of the headache and guesswork out of it. Yeah.
But you can still use all these needles.
But you
on
can
there.
bounce between it. Yeah, I bounce between all three of these.
Yeah, so it's really good to make sure that you have at least one of each package in your arsenal. So like if you get a different fabric in, you're not rushing to order, a pack. So when you order needles, just have a ballpoint on hand, a titanium on hand, and pick your most popular size that you use the most.
Yeah.
So Corey, when you're using, say if I wanted to use a 4.5 or a 5.0, why would I jump up to that?
If you're looking at using a larger size needle, let me move these out of the way. So we got 4.5 or 5.0. If you're looking at using a larger size needle, you're going up to really dense fabrics. You're looking at jean stitch fabric. You're using a thicker thread, like a jean stitch thread. Why did I say jean stitch fabric? I meant like denim fabric or jean stitch thread. If you're quilting through leather, depending on what machine you have, some machines can quilt through leather.
Yep.
You'll want a larger needle for that. Otherwise, you're going to have needle deflection, which is when the needle goes down, it hits that fabric and it deflects a little bit, which causes it to not go exactly in the bobbin case where it needs to pick up the thread, or in the hook, excuse me, exactly where it needs to go pick up the thread, and then you get skip stitches.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I was just quilting yesterday and it was fine, now I'm getting skip stitches. It normally has, moving on to a different fabric, you'll need a larger needle to do that.
Yeah, so sometimes people have even increased to their 4.5 just if they're having some skip stitches because of the fabric that they're using, and it's helped out a lot.
Yeah.
Now, another reason you would use a 5.0 would be metallic thread. They do recommend, because the needle, the eye is larger, it helps the thread go through and not strip the thread as it's going through.
Right, because the thread goes back and forth through the needle a bunch before it actually makes the stitch.
Exactly, exactly.
So a 5.0 for long arm machines, or if you're doing this on your sewing machine with an AccuStitch or something like that, you'll want a metallic needle.
Metallic needle, yeah.
Yeah, there's different things for that.
That makes sense. So yeah, so then, so if so a 2.5, because I mean, you're going to eventually use all these in somewhere. 2.5s are not used that often, but it's always good to have at least one package on hand.
They're not common, but if you are doing a lot of background quilting, I cannot get this package straight. If you're doing a lot of really tight, dense micro quilting in the background, or if you're doing a quilt that is strictly stitch in the ditch, and you're using a thin micro quilter thread, 100 weight thread on that, that's when I use a 2.5 if that's all I'm going to do.
Exactly.
Just to keep the needle or the hole size really, really small.
Or a 3.0, right? Between the 2.5, you use a 2.5 more?
I would use a 2.5 more personally.
Okay.
But you'll have to go slower.
Yeah,
because it's a thinner needle, it does not have as much gumption to go with high speeds.
Gumption?
I call it gumption. That's what I'm calling it. That was the word I just came up with.
So the needle's a little bit smaller, the hole's a little bit smaller, but
Right.
it does help with that tighter stitching because you're getting a smaller hole.
Yeah, so you won't see the hole as much.
But you do definitely go a little bit smaller. And sometimes you do have to adjust a few things when you do change needles, when you go that small.
Right.
But depending on what look you're going for.
Right.
So it doesn't hurt to have like almost every size in there. So, do we have any questions?
Yeah, if you'll read those while I'm continuing on. So 2.5 or 3.0 would also be good if you're doing some antique quilts, probably the 3.0 more. Some antique quilts, or if you're doing silks, you'll definitely want a smaller needle for that. But doing a smaller needle also determines that you would have to work with a thinner thread. Using a 2.5 needle and trying to use a Permacore Tex 40, it's not going to work in your favor.
Exactly.
Trust me, ask me how I know.
Exactly. So again, variations, there's variations of all the needles. If you're just coming on, just once this post, you can go back and look at all of it. But there's different variations. So we had a question on recommendations on what needle would you use for two-sided canvas? So you probably use, if you're using canvas, wouldn't you do a 4.5 or...
Depending on what kind, if it's a really dense canvas material, you would probably be more in the 4.5 range. I would even be happy with a 5.0.
Yeah, if it's a really thick
at.
canvas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm putting all of them in. Sorry, I'm putting them all in the picture for you. Probably not even the right area.
You're good. I'm fixing it. I would probably stick with a 4.5 or a 5.0. I would test out the 4.5 just because it has a smaller hole. But if you're still having issues with your stitching, then I would move up to a 5.0, and you shouldn't have any problems at that point.
Exactly. So go ahead and line all these up so they can see all the different sizes that we have. And different variations. And did you guys have any questions? Did we make sense? Did we confuse you to death? Because there's so much to know.
This is just a quick rundown on the needles as well. This is, there's a lot of information about needles. Yeah. But the biggest thing about it that you really want to be aware of is when you're out at a quilt show, for instance, and you're shopping around and the quilt store that you're shopping at has needles for sale, and you see your green package, you do, like Diana said, want to have that picture to help match up to, because they might have your needle listed with a different machine, and the machine you have listed with a different needle.
And it's not on purpose.
And it's not their fault.
Sure.
It's not on purpose. There's so much to know about needles that you want to make sure that you're getting the exact right thing that you need, because putting in the wrong needle for your machine, if it doesn't fit, can cause a ton of issues.
Exactly. So
more headache than anything. But
so we just want to do like a quick overview on needles for you. We're going to work on another in-depth video coming down the road on the needles, bringing them out, showing you the difference of what a sharp looks like, what the ballpoint looks like, what the titanium looks like. But just to kind of give like a quick Q&A, since you guys are here with us, if you had any questions on needles and things like that. Well, I guess we've been doing this for years and years and years. One of the biggest things we've run into is somebody putting the wrong needle in their machine, just because, again, they just thought they needed a green package of Grossbeckers. Right. They didn't really pay attention to this part of it. They'll come in and say, I just need the Grossbecker, the size 18 Grossbecker. And I'm like, okay, we got a lot of variations going on. Which kind of machine do you have? What needle do you need? And they're like, I just need the 134s. Well, there's a lot of 134s. So it's
and please take a picture of your machine too, if you're needle shopping.
Yeah.
Because you might have, I have a handy quilter. What kind of handy quilter?
Because they've changed needles.
And it's not that we're trying to be persistent and rude, asking a ton of questions, but if we don't give you the right thing, then you're not going to be happy. Yeah. And each handy quilter over the years has changed some of their stuff, and that's okay. So I mean, everyone changes stuff. But if you don't know exactly which one you need, then you're going to end up having issues, and it's probably going to happen on that customer quilt that you didn't want to have issues on, and then you want to take a blowtorch to the machine, and it goes from there.
So Tiffany, you have a good question. Do we have a PDF on this information? We don't have one in detail yet. We are something that we're working on to make it a simple one. There's ones that are out there that are very complex. Like
who's working on that PDF? I didn't get that memo, Tiffany. Don't add me in that.
We will definitely be working on that.
There we go.
And
she will definitely be working on that. We'll do a good little spreadsheet with X's, and this is what would work well for this, and this is what would work well for that.
Because I mean, we have different ones that are available for like just use this needle size for this, but not like what needle goes with what. So definitely something that we need to work on, and we'll get working on that so we can make it a free download for everyone.
Yeah. So, well, it's a good thing to know.
Exactly.
Amy had a good question. Do titanium needles last longer?
So the rule of thumb is that they do. On the hardness scale, there's the chrome needle is actually kind of say here on the hardness scale. And I just might have a little thing, Amy, just for you. So, you probably can't even see this. Corey, you want to take that up there?
Oh, I can
Or you can put it right there. Yeah. So ignore the rest of these needles because this is for all the stuff they sell. But the chrome is your kind of normal needle.
That's an R needle.
That's an R needle. And the titanium
R and a medium ballpoint.
Is up here. And that basically the titanium nitrate does have a surface coating on it that does make it, it kind of makes it last longer because it's a harder thing. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right.
No, it makes it last longer, and with it being titanium coated, it doesn't heat up as fast, which causes shredding and skip stitches and breakage. So a lot of people stick with titaniums pretty much throughout. The only thing about that is titaniums only come as a light ballpoint.
Yeah,
that is the only way they're made.
Exactly.
And if you are using a dense, heavy cotton fabric, you are probably going to get skip stitches and have tension issues. Now, if you're not having that, good on you. But not all machines are made the same way.
Yeah.
So, if you're using those really dense, heavy cottons, you might have to use an R, which is a sharp needle, in order to go through them.
Gotcha.
But still, whether they last longer or not, change your needle every quilt. Personally, what are you looking at?
Well, she had a question. She said, I have 2 packets of needles that came with my machine, but it doesn't have letters on the bottom, but it has numbers. And you don't really want to look on the bottom. This is just the batch number. You want to make sure, so bring it back over there really quick. We're going to show this really one more time. So it was a good question. We get that question a lot. So you don't want to look on the bottom numbers, that last line, when you're trying to decide, because that can change over batches, over years. You really need to look at this part right here. The numbers there, and whether you want ballpoint or sharp. So the R for sharp, and like he was saying.
Now, if your package does not have R or this Gribbiter or the FGS or anything like that, if you'll shoot us a picture to either email or Facebook Messenger, or you can call us and we can give you something else. We can help you determine what they are.
Yeah.
But they should have some type of lettering down here.
Yeah, some type of indication.
Yeah.
So.
But again, rule of thumb, I always change my needle every single quilt just to save myself on the headache.
Yeah.
Needles are relatively inexpensive. I'm not saying they're cheap, but they're relatively inexpensive. And I would rather take the 49-cent hit each quilt that I do to save myself from having to pick out an entire quilt because something went wrong with skip stitches or tension was wrong or all sorts of runs in the fabric or
so yeah,
whatever.
that's not, so, and we always taught, every quilt or at least every other quilt. So say, Corey loves to do it on every quilt. But even if you do every other quilt, but definitely not 5 or 6 quilts or 10 quilts, or you definitely want to.
Until it starts hearing a pop.
Yeah. It's just like you said, it's relatively inexpensive, so you make sure you don't have those issues. And when you do change it, make sure you do put it in the correct way.
Yeah,
that's
another thing.
Get nervous to changing them, especially like the multi-range needles, because they're round, they're not square.
Yeah, they don't have a flat edge. You have to get them in there just right.
So you want to make sure that you do put it in there correctly. Whether it's in putting a needle alignment magnet on there to help you, whether it's visual, that's important too, to learn how to put your needle in correctly, because that can cause just as much issues as the
that's another topic that gets brought up over the phone and in store.
Yeah.
I had the people, the dealer, whoever, delivered my machine 3 months ago, and I've been too scared to change the needle, so I've been using the same one, and now I'm having issues. Yeah. So then, then we got to take you through the changing of the needle, which is not a problem, but don't be afraid to change it.
Yeah.
And if you are, I would reach out to your dealer.
Yeah.
To figure out the exact way to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because and if you're looking and getting a new machine and it's coming your way, definitely have that technician show you how to change that needle before
no question.
Leaves.
Videotape it too.
Yeah. That way, because that's really, really important. Something that simple, that least cost 49
threading the
cents.
machine and putting in a needle.
The needle right. So.
And putting in the bobbin case
yeah,
right.
A few things.
Those are 3 things. But yeah, no. When that comes to that, have that video, have that reference, have it written down.
Yeah.
Something so you're not afraid to go in there and just
exactly
and be done with it.
Exactly. Oh wow, it's 8:57, so we don't have very much time.
Shall we show that one thing?
No, we'll save it.
Okay.
So if you're in the Dallas area this weekend, the Dallas Quilt Show is downtown at the Market Hall. Definitely go by, see all the beautiful quilts, see all the vendors that have taken their time to go to the show. It's a relatively nice size show.
It's a good
size
show.
You
Market
definitely
Hall's a
enjoy
good
it.
size.
So if you're in the area, check out the Dallas Quilt Show.
It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, it's through Sunday.
Through Sunday, yeah.
And don't forget time changes on Sunday, so we spring forward an hour.
Oh yeah, that was the whole reason for our title today. It's about that time.
It's about that time. It's
about that time to spring forward.
Exactly.
So don't forget that.
And at the end of every show, we like to do a thankful for. We're gonna rename it to Gratitude Minute.
Gratitude Minute.
Gratitude Minute. So definitely, we love hearing what you guys are thankful for that week. Throw it in the feed. For this week, I am thankful actually for my stylist, my hairdresser. Isn't that funny? No,
okay.
I am thankful for Haley, because no matter what we need to do time-wise, because I work every day, she always finds a way to work me in at night and have somebody watch her kids. And I feel bad for that, but she says she likes to get away and have a break. But so that way she can take her time, do my hair, spend time with me, and I don't have to try to take off work to go during the day. So she always finds that time during the night, during the week for me, so I can do it. So I am very thankful for Haley today.
She is super duper sweet and really, really nice.
Yeah. So what are you thankful for?
I
felt like that was coming up.
Yeah, that's my thankful. I'll get up and show you. If you follow me on Facebook, you would have seen, did I post it yesterday?
Yeah.
Yesterday, that my heart is so full of a bunch of different loves. But I am thankful for my new puppy, Tucker. So there he is.
And he's so sweet. So Corey brought him up to see me at the hair salon last night because it's just me and Haley when it's at nighttime.
There's Tucker.
And he just sat there and just looked at me, just chill. He held him in there.
He is the most chill dog.
Yeah, just super chill, just looked at
I'll
you.
find another photo of him. But I am super duper thankful for Tucker. So that's him. He's just the cutest little fluff ball. And there's nothing like puppy love. There's nothing like it. So that is who I am super duper thankful for.
So, all right, everyone. Well, we have to jet. We really appreciate, again, you watching us and subscribing to our channel. We can't wait to see you next Thursday when Corey is live quilting and answering questions as he goes.
Yes, that's what we're doing. And then, Debbie, we will take a look at that picture that you sent, and we'll get back with you.
All right, sounds good.
All righty, y'all. Have a wonderful Friday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.